Dodge his next attack if you can! But know that if you do, your precious little planet will be gone!
What's that? Whoa. Okay, whoa. I'm really close to the camera. What up, everybody? It's your boy, the Infinite Dragon here, and today we're going to be watching Dragon Ball Super, the land region where Super Saiyans have blonde hair from Did You Know movies. This is on the Film Theorist channel, which is also owned by the Game Theorist channel. And I think I already know the reason why Super Saiyans have blonde hair. I think it's because when Akira Toriyama was drawing the manga for it, he had an assistant. Who was working with him, and when they were inking, he didn't want to make his assistant ink Goku's hair every time. So he just made it blonde so he wouldn't have to ink it. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the reason, but we're about to find out. Without further ado, let's go. Play. 2, 3. 6, 7, 8.
Did you know? Demon King Piccolo, the first truly evil villain in the Dragon Ball series, was inspired by the Roman Emperor Nero. Accounts of Nero's rule suggest he was a psychopath and a tyrant. He was even rumored to have Christians dipped in oil and set on fire to light his garden at night. While developing the character of King Piccolo, then editor of the Dragon Ball manga, Kazuhiko Torishima, worked with creator Akira Toriyama over the phone. He wanted Toriyama to give Goku a challenging enemy unlike anything he faced before, someone insane who delighted in the pain of others around him. Cheekily, Toriyama also based King Piccolo on Kazuhiko Torishima himself. Years later, Torishima stated in an interview, "You can tell who was the editor at the time by the enemy characters. After you'd been doing it a while, you'd appear as an enemy." Frieza is another villain that was inspired by one of Dragon Ball's editors. In an interview from Volume 1 of Shenlong Times, a bonus pamphlet from the Daizenshu Japanese guidebooks, some of the publishing staff speculated that Frieza was based on Toriyama's second editor, Yu Kondo. However, Toriyama has never admitted this publicly, and Kondo prefers to believe he was the inspiration for Trunks. When asked about the development of Frieza as a character, Toriyama stated that he vaguely recalls basing Frieza on an evil queen from a movie. The concept of Frieza being a corrupt planet broker was inspired by real estate speculators active during Japan's 1986 economic bubble. Toriyama had contempt for people in the profession, calling them the worst people of all. Majin Buu is another villain thought to be based on one of Toriyama's editors, this time the Dragon Ball manga's final editor, Fuyuto Takeda. Toriyama's first impression of Takeda was that the man was overweight. In an interview for the guidebook Dragon Ball Forever, the author denied consciously using his editors as inspiration for villains, but he admitted that he might have done so subconsciously. Toriyama has acknowledged pulling inspiration for at least one villain from his life. The design for the god of destruction, Beerus, was based on his family cat, which is of the Cornish Rex breed.
Wait, that's Beerus? He looks like a big hairless house cat!
The 14-year-old cat became seriously ill, and Toriyama's family were told it didn't have long to live. The cat miraculously survived, however, with the vet joking it could be some kind of demon. Various locations in Dragon Ball have real-world influences as well. The tall, thin mountains in the background of Goku's country home, Mount Paozu, are inspired by the world-famous mountains of China, like the Tianzi Mountains. Papaya Island, the location of the World Martial Arts Tournament, is based on the real-world Indonesian island of Bali. Toriyama and his assistant went on vacation to the island with their wives. The trip left such an impression on the author that he even drew his tour guide in a panel of the manga. Whenever the Dragon Ball story returned to Papaya Island, Toriyama would pull out photographs from their trip as reference material. At one point during production, an assistant complained about having to draw so many detailed statues every week. In response, Toriyama decided to have Goku destroy the statues during the fight, making the scenes easier to draw. Editor Kazuhiko Torishima once called Toriyama a master of cutting corners. In the same interview, Torishima revealed that the Super Saiyan transformation was also an example of Toriyama cutting corners. The reason Super Saiyan hair turns bright gold was simply because Toriyama and his assistant grew tired of coloring in Goku's normal black hair. They decided that making the hair bright would allow them to draw the outline without having to fill it in.
I am the Super Saiyan Son Goku!
The blue hair of the Super Saiyan Blue form in Resurrection F and Dragon Ball Super is supposed to be symbolic. The color is meant to demonstrate the level of tranquility Goku and Vegeta attained in their training with Beerus. Interestingly, Toriyama once considered blue hair for the Super Saiyan God form first seen in Battle of Gods. He decided against blue at that time as he thought red looked stronger. Even before that, however, the Super Saiyan God transformation looked completely different. The initial design was created by Battle of Gods animation supervisor Tadayoshi Yamamuro. He described his take as built and sturdy with a cape, but the idea was thrown out by Akira Toriyama. The creator replaced it with the smaller and less flashy design because he didn't like the idea of Goku growing more macho. This wasn't the first time Toriyama was unsatisfied with the anime staff taking liberties with his characters. In a 1997 interview with Wired, Toriyama mentioned he disliked how the anime would occasionally deviate from the manga and portray Goku as a righteous hero-type character. The author originally envisioned Goku as someone who fought primarily for his own selfish reasons, and he had trouble communicating this concept to the anime staff. Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball GT were animated by hand and released on a weekly basis. This is the reason for the animated version's infamous problems with pacing. It was simply because the original manga was being made at the same time as the show. At the beginning of the anime, the manga had been under development for over a year, with 63 chapters completed. A single episode could cover up to 3 chapters of the manga without any problems, but this brisk pace slowed down as the anime began to catch up with the manga. The series hit its shortest chapter gap during the fight between Goku and Frieza, where the manga was a mere 10 chapters ahead of the anime. To stall for time, the anime only covered a single chapter per episode, meaning approximately 14 pages had to be stretched out to fill a 22-minute time slot. This practice resulted in instances of reused animation, extended fight sequences, and more than a few inconsistencies. The most famous example being the moment Frieza claimed Namek will explode in 5 minutes, only to continue battling Goku for 9 more episodes before it finally happened. The weekly broadcast schedule is also the reason why the visual style would change from episode to episode. Up to 12 different animation studios worked on different episodes simultaneously throughout the series. Some studios had large budgets and experienced animators, which resulted in high-quality episodes, but other studios were not as fortunate, resulting in episodes that looked remarkably worse by comparison. The team responsible for the infamous pointed angular drawing style, Studio Live, animated nearly 1 in every 6 episodes of the series. This meant the low-quality animation was much more common than the high-quality animation. Akira Toriyama did not actively participate in the development of any animated release of Dragon Ball until the recent Dragon Ball Z films and the television series Dragon Ball Super. The first of these films, Battle of Gods, was rewritten almost entirely by Toriyama after he received a draft of the script. Many fans suggest that the 2009 Hollywood live-action adaptation, Dragon Ball Evolution, may have been the cause of Toriyama's renewed interest. A few years after Dragon Ball Evolution, some comments suggested Toriyama was annoyed by the American film, and that Evolution didn't live up to his expectations. Toriyama stated, "I had put Dragon Ball behind me, but seeing how much that live-action film ticked me off, and how I revised that script for the anime movie, I suppose somewhere along the line it's become a series I like too much to ever leave alone." Did you also know that the Majin Buu race in Dragon Ball games exists because Majin Buu found an erotic novel? For more Dragon Ball facts, check out the Did You Know Gaming video on Dragon Ball Z games. And a special thank you to Kanzenshu.com, the source of much of the information in this video. Excuse me, this is Piccolo, and there was...
Have you guys ever seen, like, Dragon Ball? Because, like, that was a childhood anime for me. Like, that was a gateway. And, yo, Piccolo was G in that. Like, Akira Toriyama has, like, a habit of, like, nerfing characters as more stronger characters come in. So that, like, he nerfs, like, the old ones. But Piccolo was a G. He was not to be messed with. I think he's, like, King Piccolo was, like, one of my, like, is, like, on my list of top 10 villains. You know, that's a good idea. If you guys want to see a top 10, my top 10 anime villains, or top 10 villains in general, leave that in the comments, or like give the video a like or something. That'd be cool. Yeah, but like that's about it. I'll link Film Theory in the video and everything, links in the description, all that stuff, and that's about it. So I'll see you guys later. Bye.